Do you know that I've never been incarcerated ever in my life? I'm scared of jail. I've never even had handcuffs on my arms before.
The mother is the person who is listed on this case as the obligor. She is requesting DNA for the youngest child on this case, Jamal.
He told the child support office that he was on the phone with them while I was in bed with him, pregnant with his new child that's inside me. And he was telling them in front of me that he didn't want to put me on child support no more. I'm praying that he's not the father if I can get my son back.
If I need to take a DNA test, let me go ahead and take a DNA test and get this out of the way because y'all are taking food out of my mouth.
Do you have any plans to work in the future?
Yes, right now I'm pregnant on bed rest at the moment, so I plan on going back to work once my daughter is born.
I owed child support for 6 years. I had him living with me for 3, but for those 3 years, I had my wages garnished while he lived there with me. So if you subtract that, that breaks us even. Like, I mean, even the fact that y'all raised my child support to $200, I haven't had a good job. I had in 2016. Y'all were charging me a percentage of what I was getting paid in 2016. Now, while I'm getting paid $7 an hour, like I was getting paid 15. Now I'm getting paid 7.
We would defer to the court's discretion as far as court costs.
No, court costs will be waived.
And that's just to go over to make sure that I'm keeping my word.
It's actually that your jail sentence is scheduled to begin. Now it may be postponed.
Do you know that I've never been incarcerated ever in my life? And I have 2 smaller children. So what's supposed to happen with them? And then my job that I have, I'm going to lose. So the income that I would be making, I'm going to end up losing that.
And make sure that you make the payments between here.
Okay. So that's what you're saying. So as long as I'm good, because right now as it stands, I've already paid back I think 3,000 since it's began. And I'm all okay with that. I understand it's my obligation to do my due diligence with that. Not a problem. I'm scared of jail. I've never even had handcuffs on my arms before. So whatever I need to do to make sure that doesn't happen, I'm all aboard. So you're just saying April 19th, appear in court, make sure everything is good to go on my part as promised, and we'll go from there.
Exactly.
Okay.
Anything else? Mr.
Do you have any suggestions for me on that, Your Honor? To keep me out of jail is just to do what we're saying today, keep my word and keep that going.
Make your payments.
Okay.
That's what you need to do. Make your payments. That's why
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Got us to this place. So make your payments, and that's the best way to avoid any bad consequences.
Okay. I understand, sir. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, Mr. Steinke, anything else?
No, that's all, Your Honor.
We're off the record.
Court notes Jamal Johnson will serve May 20th, 2023. His return is on file. Case is ready for default. Ms. Correa, go ahead and proceed.
Your Honor, the mother is the person who is listed on this case as the obligor. She is requesting DNA for the youngest child on this case, Jamal. There are 2 children before the court.
How old is Jamal and Ms. Harper?
He's 7.
When did the father sign the acknowledged paternity saying he was the father?
When he was born.
Why are we asking for DNA 7 years later?
Because I've been asking forever to do it, but he wouldn't do it because he felt like if he done it, then he wouldn't want to be with me no more. But that's the reason why I was trying to get him to do it, because I didn't want to be with him no more. I was tired of him abusing me.
I don't understand. What does him wanting to be with you have to do with whether or not he's the father or not?
He told me he wouldn't take the test. I asked him to take the test, but he was like, "You gotta pay for it." And I'm like, I don't have the money to pay for it yet. But when I get the money, I'll pay for it.
Is he the father?
I'm not 100% sure.
Why is he not here today?
Because he said that he didn't want to put me on child support no more. He told the child support office that he was on the phone with them while I was in bed with him, pregnant with his new child that's inside me. And he was telling them in front of me that he didn't want to put me on child support no more.
Can you stop walking around? It's very distracting.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to sit down somewhere. I'm pregnant. I'm trying to go to work. I'm trying to take care of my other kid. I'm trying to take care of the baby inside of me.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to take care of my court here too.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, do you believe he's going to appear in court in the future if I reset the case?
No.
Anything else you want to tell me about why I should order DNA testing for a 7-year-old child?
Just so he could like, if y'all just where I can get my, if he's not the child's father, then he'll give me my child back because I really want my son back. I never want him to take him. He took him in September of last year, and we were fighting, but he's a man. He's stronger than me, so I just want my son back. I'm praying that he's not the father. If I can get my son back.
Okay, at this time, I'm not going to grant your request for DNA testing. It's been too long. We should have done this a long time ago. If the father shows up and then he wants DNA testing, I might reconsider it, but he's not even here.
I have the paperwork showing that he said he wanted it. I can send that in. Like I was at his house. I have his paperwork. They brought it to his house, and I was there. So I have the paperwork saying he even said it.
Well, I don't have it here in front of me. You have it on your computer?
No, I have it at my house, my brother's house.
I'm not at your house, man.
I know. I'm saying I don't have it. I don't have it with me either. I'm trying to work on taking
now,
care of
not later.
Huh?
I'm in a hearing now and not later on.
Okay, well, I don't have it right now, this very moment, because I can't go back home. I have to walk. I have to walk back to Pleasant Grove from Oak Cliff. So.
Okay. Well, if you have evidence you want to present, you have to save it to your computer so that I can view it if we're on Zoom, because otherwise I can't just wait around and go to your house to have a court hearing. Okay. All right. So.
Can I bring it to the child support office tomorrow?
I'm denying your request for DNA testing. Ms. Correa, when do you want to reset the case to?
Let's reset it to 10/12.
Okay. All right. I'm resetting your case to October 12th. And
if I get the DNA test done by then myself,
can you stop talking while I'm talking?
Okay.
It's very rude. I don't know if you ever watched a court show, but people don't usually talk when the judge.
Okay, I'm sorry.
We're resetting the case to October 12th, 2023. You need to reappear on that date. And then hopefully we get the father to show up and we can talk a little more about your case. I'm not as I said earlier, I'm not granting your request for DNA testing, but I may reconsider it if the father comes in and we can talk about it then again. But otherwise, he's the father legally. He signed acknowledged paternity. Everyone finds, basically the paper he signed saying he has a legal relationship. And unless something has changed, then I can't do anything different. He's the legal father. All right, you are done with court today. You can press.
I have a question.
Exit out.
I have a question, sir. Am I able to ask a question or no?
I don't think I'm going to be able to give you an answer today, but go ahead.
Okay, if I go and pay for a DNA test done, and I get it done by basically a program where where it can be proven in court, would that help?
I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. If your only ploy here is to get the child back by doing DNA testing, that's not enough.
I just don't want him to be with.
You probably want to go talk to an attorney. That's probably the smartest thing you can do.
Okay. Because
Okay, I got to move on with my docket, Ms. Harper. I have other people waiting. I need to move on.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
The state is asking for ruling if you would be willing to grant a DNA order since the NCP has not been served. This is a case where we have a presumed father situation. It is my understanding that the parties have agreed. The parties that have been served are in agreement to a DNA order.
I can't do DNA if the father hasn't been, or the alleged father hasn't been served yet. We need to reset it for service.
Sir, can I ask you a question?
No.
All right, Your Honor. The reset date we are asking for would be October 19th, 2023.
All right, resetting your case to October 19th. Mr. Oakrey needs to be served before I can proceed with DNA test. If he's served, even if he doesn't appear, then we can do DNA testing. Obviously, I understand, Mr. Clay, you're not the father, but you were married to Ms. Clay during the time of conception or the time that the child was born within 300 days. And if y'all got divorced, y'all didn't put in the court order that there was a child born that was not yours. So that's why you're included in here. Eventually, if we serve, then we'll need you to go do testing, and that will be your only involvement in this case. When you return, Mr. Clay, please follow my rules. Make sure you're parked. You're not in a car that's moving so that we can proceed with your hearing. Do you have a question, Mr. Clay?
Yes, sir. So considering the fact that, we know who the presumed father is, I've been having to take out, I'm a truck driver and I've been having to take out and pull over on the side of the roads and lose like the last The last court hearing we had, we were there 3.5 hours for them to tell me 2 minutes, in 2 minutes, that they needed to serve the party, Mr. James Oakley, Mr. Shannon Oakley, or James Oakley. So what I'm saying is they're all taken out of my time. If I need to take a DNA test, let me go ahead and take a DNA test and get this out of the way, because y'all are taking food out of my mouth. One of the reasons why we have
you gotten divorced from Miss Clay?
One of the reasons why we have the choices program is so that we can help find. But you're not listening to mine. Can you understand from my point, sir, that I have
in a statement that you don't want to be here and you're wasting your time here. My question.
Yeah, I'm wasting my
have you gotten
time.
a divorce?
You say that again?
Have you gotten a divorce from Miss Clay?
No.
Okay, well, that's the problem. All right, so I can't do anything about it, sir. That's the way it is. You're married to Miss Clay. The way it's supposed to work is you're supposed to get divorced when y'all don't want to be together anymore. And that way, if she has children, then we don't have to involve the ex-husband because you're not the father. The way it is right now is that you're presumed to be the father, even though you may know that maybe you're not the father. Mr. Oakley is not the father as the law sets up right now. So unless you want to be liable and pay child support for the child, you are required to be here because you chose not to get divorced, and that's part of the problem. So there's nothing I can do about that. I'm not going to excuse you from having to drive while you're in court. You're going to have to plan ahead to sit for a couple of hours from 9 to probably 12 or so. I don't know how long it take. Every time that we're in court, that's just the way it is. There's nothing I can do about that.
Okay, so are we going to finally
to exit out? Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I did find an address for the father and I sent a message so y'all could serve him. I just wanted to see if you got that information.
I'm not with the Attorney General's office, ma'am. I'm the judge.
Okay, so I just asked him. Okay, all right.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Is it correct you've not made a payment since March?
That is incorrect. I made a payment on Monday.
You made a payment on Monday?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry, I must have.
It just hasn't shown in our system, but that's possible.
Okay, and how much did you pay on Monday?
I was able to make a $50 payment.
Are you currently working?
I'm currently not working.
All right, when did you last work?
I worked in, I want to say it was the last month was February.
Do you have any plans to work in the future?
Yes, right now I'm pregnant on bed rest at the moment. So I plan on going back to work once my daughter is born.
And when are you due, ma'am?
I'm due in December.
Do you have any other source of income?
I babysit and then my day works.
How often do you babysit?
I babysit 2 days a week.
How much do you make doing that?
$20 a week.
Do you have a note from a doctor indicating you're on bed rest currently and unable to work?
I don't have a note.
Has a doctor told you that?
Yes.
All right. Does that conflict with your babysitting 2 times a week?
No, because it's in my home and I don't have to go anywhere.
How old are the children that you babysit?
He is 1.5.
Require any physical activity by you to care for that child?
Just not enough to where it would affect my abilities to care for him. I just play with him, I feed him, and it's only a few hours a day.
So you're not restricted to total bed rest, is that correct?
Correct. I just can't be on my feet for very long.
And do you own a home or rent a residence?
I rent.
All right, thank you. Sir, do you have any questions or comments for the court?
No, Your Honor.
Ma'am, I'm going to adjourn your case to give you an opportunity to get something from your physician addressing whether or not you have the ability to work at this time. I will reset your case to November 15th to give you the time to secure that.
Okay. So it's just a letter stating that he wants me to be on bed rest.
If he has a recommendation as to, yes, that you should be on bed rest, and any recommendations regarding how much, and if you have the ability to work, that type of information, yes.
Okay. How would I get that to you?
You can contact the friend of the court, and then it can either be faxed in, mailed in, or potentially emailed also.
Okay, thank you.
You should continue to try to make any payments that you can, which are obviously going to be helpful as to how we handle the matter in November.
Yeah, I'm planning on trying to make at least $50 payments every week.
Okay. All right. I think that would be very helpful. Thank you, ma'am.
Yep.
All right, you are free to go.
I want to know how y'all did the math because if I do, like this is the way that I understood it. I owed child support for 6 years. I had him living with me for 3, but for those 3 years, I had my wages garnished while he lived there with me. So if you subtract that, that breaks us even. Like, I mean, even the fact that y'all raised my child support to $200, I haven't had a good job. Like I had in 2016,
Yes.
so y'all were charging me a percentage of what I was getting paid in 2016. Now, while I'm getting paid $7 an hour, like I was getting paid 15, now I'm getting paid 7, and I'm still having to freaking pay half. Like me and my son couldn't live anymore. Like I'm literally like staying in a room. Like that's
I
just
understand
crazy.
that, Ms. Elizondo, but from that 12,877, we are giving you credit for all the monies that they were garnishing. Every time they would garnish from that check that you were getting, they were sending it into the Attorney General. So it's that credit.
While he lived with me. No, while he lived with me. So I'm paying for everything and his living expenses for those 3 years. While he lives with me, I have to pay child support. That's double. That means that I already had those, for those 3 years that he lived with me, I lived 6 years with him because I had to pay for him to live there with me, buy all his clothes, buy everything he and then have my wages garnished as well. So for those 3 years that he lived with me, I had my wages garnished for the other 3 years prior, and it should have already broken me even.
Right.
If you did the math, math
What
doesn't
I'm
lie.
hearing you say is like you were paying double. I hear you. Mr. Schamberger.
No, you're not hearing me, Mom, because numbers don't lie. If you did the math, you said that from 2016, you credited me $4,000. 4,000 times 6, that's 24,000. $24,000. 12,000 of what I paid while my son lived with me, incurring expenses for those 12,000 that I've already paid.
I agree.
Why aren't I getting credit for the 12,000 while he lived with me?
I hear you.
That's not.
So
that's not
I'm ready to
logical.
render. Yes, I'm ready to render a judgment, Ms. Elizondo. Mr. Schamberger, does that take the arrears down to 0?
Yes, Your Honor, that would take
All
the
right,
arrears
in
to
the
0.
court, based on her testimony that she has been providing support, the court will grant a arrears judgment of 0. So Ms. Elizondo, you don't owe any past due child support. Was there any other issues, Mr. Schamberger?
We would defer to the court's discretion as far as court costs.
Yeah, no, court costs will be waived. I will sign the order electronically, Ms. Elizondo. If you do not like the decision, you've got 3 business days to file an appeal.